On to the Rift for Game 4 between TSM and Team Liquid. And gentlemen, we're going to head back to the mid lane here for some discussion around the Azir. Both of these players still undefeated on this champion.
Yeah, both them 6-0 for the split. No chant this time, please. All right.
No cheerleading?
Yeah.
Give me a...
No. Give me a BAN. I want to see what happens when people ban this. What is the answer? what is each team's answer to having Azir banned? Because we've seen like Twisted Fate for Phoenix. We've seen Bjergsen go back to his champion pool, possibly AP Kog'Maw. But I want to see what happens when it's banned and who bans it. Because TSM is blue side, and if it's first pickable, I don't know, because there's so much that's being contested right now, and this seems to be the big champion in this series. It's kind of the overarching series meta is Azir seems to be victorious and gives you that long range because it's just so team fight based.
Yeah, and it's weird actually using a term like series meta. I actually agree with you, by the way. I think it's interesting. It feels like the general skill level of a player and the general play style of a player seems locked in on a given day, and again and again, Team Liquid just playing a little bit better in the early game, TSM generally rotating better, than the team fights end up being the thing that matters, and it seems to be happening every single game in the same formula. And I think the only adaptation you can really make is to actually change the strategy you go for and the champions you put your players on. I think that's actually the growth you have to put into your team as a coach, is change that facet because you won't change the other parts. And yes, look for champions like Azir, look for big team fighters, look for late game scaling. I do think Team Liquid could go for like a hardcore early game comp that actually pushes the game in if they ban out wave clear, but that's of course tricky to go for. The safe one is to play team fights, but I do think that you have to react to exactly how these games have been playing and play to those strengths continually.
Now, ultimately, because we're seeing the game trend towards these late game team fights and hinging on one millisecond or split second decision within a team fight, if and when Azir is out of the picture, who do you go towards as a mid laner?
I was actually pretty okay with Phoenix's Victor. He was getting zoned out by like really good Flame Choppers and really good Azir soldiers, but largely I thought that champion was good. Yeah. I am less impressed by Bjergsen's Victor, so I'm curious to see what team fighter comes in next. Maybe he plays Orianna, maybe that comes in, but that still seems to be, you want a 5-on-5 mage.
Yeah. All right, well, you know what the analysts here at the desk are hoping for. No Azir this game. Without further ado, let's hand it off to the casters for the call.
Thank you very much, Dash, Cyrene, and Freak. We're going to be heading into our next game. Game number 4. This one is going to be a good one. Still game point for Team Solo Mid. Team Liquid looking to keep those hopes alive. TSM is still feeling in a pretty good spot. They have championship points to still move on. This win just solidifies it even more.
Yeah, and it's been such a tough road for Team Liquid. How many times have they been swept in the semifinals? To pull off a reverse sweep would be so sweet.
Everybody's got that famous LMQ match in their minds.
Yep.
Right now.
They're trying to repeat history, as it were, for themselves now. They don't want to repeat the loss. They'd love to be able to bring back what happened and turn it into their own victory. Olaf Nidalee back on the ban list. The games are even, so we're seeing swaps each time to blue and red side. Nobody has that more than once in a row.
TSM are definitely looking for an early Braum pick here with the Alistar and Janna bans.
Hey.
I almost expect a first pick on Braum, because we always talk about Alistar being the bodyguard of supports, but Braum is like the secret service. All right, well, never mind.
Yeah, there you go.
This is probably not a support, though, so it still could be an early pick, Braum.
Just a hover. The Braum does seem so important for how much peeling has been happening in these fights, as well as just solidifying the front line in these late-game team fights. You'd imagine that's what they go for.
The Lulu, not the Braum, gets locked in on this one. I'm sorry, Kobe. So it is going to be something that acts as a flex pick here for Team Solo Mid. Not as much as you would probably think. It might just be going to Bjergsen, but the Braum, like you said, guys, that is high priority, and it is picked up by Liquid along with Gragas.
Yeah, 2 support bans, not willing to first pick it. Let's see how important this Lulu is, and that makes me think it's going to be again the Bjergsen Lulu. Darius on something like Gnar, and then Turtle hyper carry. But very flexible first pick. You could easily swap it to any of their 3 lanes.
Yeah. Tons of flexibility here. Elise is still up in the jungle, but there's no priority. It's just we're somewhat running out of power picks. Maokai and Gnar have traded hands back and forth a lot in the top lane. So there's not much priority here. Team Liquid also has to pick, Team Solo Mid also has to pick somewhat blind here, because Braum and Gragas don't really give away much.
You didn't see that Gale in Europe, gentlemen. We'll will we see a KL over in NA? Not as much chancing by the teams in North America, really within their picks, always falling back to comfort. Whatever is on the first 5 fingers of their hands, they pick unless it's gone.
And there it is. It all becomes clear. It is the Dyrus on the Gnar. Bjergsen will take the Lulu. Turtle on the endgame carry.
Still a chance we get something else, only because Lustboy, he used to be a big Lulu player. It's highly unlikely, though, in the current meta, especially since he played Lulu twice. However, in the quarterfinals. However, that was with the Olaf. So that was more of a speed up a dude to go team composition.
True. Right now, this is safety and initiation, really, if Santorin is, or I should say Dyrus on Gnar is going to be big in that fight. Victor hovered here by Phoenix. Feels good in that sense that that would be the next one. We see the Ari go back to Bjergsen in that case.
Yeah, a lot of intrigue in this champ select. Really, a lot of it will have to do with who has the better late game. That's very true to so much of the victories here. Really relying on Phoenix for a lot of damage, but not on as mobile of a champion here. Victor can't peel himself as well as Azir can.
Yeah. And with Azir banned, the Victor pick.
The Victor takes on a unique position in the game.
Yeah, exactly. Very, very powerful. I mean, that just makes me even more curious what Bjergsen had that they wanted to wait on it. He's probably expecting the Victor. Victor also, you know, no escapes of his own, so he is also vulnerable to assassins.
Interesting to see, as at least left up in this game as well. Santorin has not decided to go for that pick at all throughout the series. And
carry Echo.
It's going to be
instead
Echo
of Tanko.
No, it's
Yeah. No, never mind. It's just
Jungle
Tank.
Echo.
What? So Bjergsen is okay.
Yeah.
Nah, I want it to be a carry Echo so he
yeah,
can kill.
he has the Lulu.
Alright, just kidding.
Sorry, Kobe.
Le Tanko.
Will it be the Vayne once again? It worked out for the team, but as well, that Vayne's a bit of a surprise. Team solo mid may be able to play around that differently here as they see it coming into game number 2. Still a hell of a lot of appeal for Vayne and safety. They're coming through this team. That depth charge, as well as a Glacial Fisher. And that is a top Nautilus locked in already, waiting for the last pick here to round out the 80 carry position.
Yeah, what is Piglet going to play here?
Wouldn't they, usually in Piglet and Spring, they almost rounded out the composition with him as well. I feel like I remember them doing this.
Whoa.
It's going to be the Twitch. So a Twitch Braum bottom lane coming in. I was just saying we hadn't seen too much Twitch in this region. Imp brought it out, but it looks like Piglet's going to give a little bit of love to the Twitch here as well in North America.
So Twitch shooting from behind a Braum shield can be pretty hard to close on. As far as trying to create things that need to immediately be shut down. And with the mid lane Lulu, TSM doesn't necessarily have very good backline diving. They kind of have to kill frontline first.
The only thing that TSM could have to get back there, you know, barring flanks that where they could just walk up, would be Dyrus having to have Mega Gnar at the exact right time and finding Piglet with an ult.
Pretty clutch time to be pulling out Twitch as well. One game away from getting knocked into the third, fourth place match, needing to win every game from here on out to make it to Madison Square Garden for the NLCS Finals. I like it. It's bold.
It's one of those that falls on the later fingers of the 5, but still not outside the 5. He doesn't have to go uncomfortable just yet.
It also puts more pressure, you know, during that mid game when all of the outer turrets have gone down and they're constantly moving back and forth between lanes.
Yep.
Jinx does not have a good time if Piglet is able to open up. If Twitch is able to open up on her in a side lane.
Finds you all alone.
We've seen him farming side lanes before. You can't do that against Twitch.
No, you cannot. If you think TSM can close out the series here, tweet hashtag TSM. If you think we're going to get a game 5 and some scrapes, hashtag TL win. This is game 4 of the semifinal series. Team Solo Mid looking to put the final touches on the game. We're just about in the rift where Liquid still looks to keep themselves alive here with their semifinal hopes to move on. We are on to the rift. We are into game. Been very slow early games. Very cautious by both teams. We'll see if that changes here. I don't expect it to.
And Team Liquid has come out ahead every single time.
One time to the win, but always finding a lead in these outside lanes to start. The middle lane going more even. Jungler's not really being able to find too much.
Yeah, really going to have to pay attention to the jungle start here. Only because the very early laning phase of Twitch can be very weak if he starts getting punished. As soon as Twitch falls behind in the lane, he loses the ability to control any sort of zone because then his stealth no longer has threat. If you then open up with stealth and you're the weaker AD carry, you get crushed. So it is incredibly important the team would give Piglet a way of getting at least to his Blade of the Ruin King.
Really punish any of the stragglers as well in fights. We saw actually cost Lustboy and Turtle some instances towards the late game there. If you remember Twitch play, it's just a flask, half your HP, and then they have the upper hand wherever that happened.
Yeah. He'll have to be very cautious and give Lustboy, respect to Lustboy's zone, because if Flay walks up, if Lustboy ever walks up and gets the Flay, then it's hard for him to retreat, even though Xpecial will be able to jump in front of him. It will take a lot of exit damage.
We'll see how this one starts off. It's going to be easy peasy. We will get a jungle camp start from the bottom this time. Saw that differently in a few of the past games. It looks like everybody's going to get the default lane swap start here. No pressure coming in.
Yeah, standard lanes, it looks like, for both
Oh, you're
sides.
right. I'm sorry. Yeah. I was
Standard
towards
lanes
the top side.
with also kind of the new enhanced way of leashing for your jungler, since lane swap is so common. Top laners take a bunch of damage early on in the jungle, help the speed of the jungler. Jungler gets CS, top laners then go back to base and heal and teleport the lane with wards. It's basically an evolution of when people would take one camp with a top laner to hit level 2. Now they just help with 2 camps, get level 2 anyway, get lane about the same time.
What it does is also equalize champions that would not be able to previously do a camp by themselves. Top lane champions allows them to go to lane with the same experience. This is extremely common even in solo queue now.
It's going to be even more common now that you mentioned it, Kobe.
Yeah.
Every game that I've been in, it happens. So,
Thanks for not getting mad anymore that we steal your jungle camps. We
Well,
as non-junglers appreciate it.
I'm not mad now because you tank all the damage for it.
Oh, okay.
And then also don't take the last hit.
Yeah. Well, plus I say that I'll give you the small babies in the camps, but then I don't. I accidentally take them.
Wow, toxic reported. That's going straight to the tribunal. Bjergsen has Phoenix back to his tower. Not too bad though. Actually looks like he's going to miss that siege, so that hurts a bit. A nice hook through the last minion, calculated there for a little extra damage from Lustboy and Wild Turtle. Try and get an advantage in this lane.
Yeah, damage on Braum is actually significant in this 2v2 matchup. If they can whittle him down enough, it makes Piglet pay even more passively. Right now, though, just trying to continue the shove, get him under turret to try and force him to miss some CS.
Could have a bit of a jungle conflict right here.
This would be
both junglers
great.
arrive.
Very, very nice in this engage if they can get it. Lustboy very low. If they have the same target, they'll be able to take him down immediately. It is Lustboy.
The double
That's
buff,
actually
though.
back onto, you said it, the double buffs. And now that's Turtles. That's the slow. Santorin gets the flash out of Braum, but has to use his own as well to engage.
Key there for Xpecial, landing the Winter's Bite before he jumps out right there, slowing down Turtle, so there's no follow-up with Santorin flashing forward. They don't have the damage to get anything else. And they did get the first blood, so even though double buff's gone, first blood money does go in Dominate's favor.
And these are 2 of the 80 carry picks that are at least capable of escaping from ganks, so it's pretty awesome how both junglers were down to gank at the same time and they collide with each other right there. It's one of the only ways that the Twitch can actually get the upper hand in the lane is if they were to have gotten a kill out of that one. But honestly, the timing of Santorin to arrive right there, and then the clutchness of being able to kill the jungler with the double buffs, I think should be able to tilt that lane in TSM's favor now.
Yeah, it's a really interesting matchup because Gragas can create better ganks by himself, but Echo's amazing at counter ganking, and Santorin came just after, so they were able to land it and turn it around. Plus, if you're the team that is initiating the gank and initiating all of the action, you use a lot more. You use your gap closers, and even the exhaust was used there just for a slow to get in range. So they didn't really benefit from the damage reduction of it, and it was used more for just forcing the actual combat.
That leaves a flash up for both 80 carries at this point. Still a bit of escape in a world where they have a hard time doing that. Wild Turtle keeps it up with Lustboy, about 75% up the lane here, just in front of the turret. Nice spot for Santorin to come into the lane if he wants for a gank, but right now it's just farming for those guys. Keeping the CS very even this time. Really one of the only games we've seen this much early aggression, but the lanes matching up as well. We've had a lot of lane swaps in this series.
Finally, standard lanes. These are also two of the strongest teams in North America, and also thinking they can win the skill matchups. TSM used to just kind of grind people down, always just trying to play defensively. That's how they developed their overly passive style, because they had so much confidence in themselves to just win lanes and slowly build an advantage. But Team Liquid also has some tremendous players.
Yeah, and speaking of that, 1 versus 1 grinding, up in the top lane, I think there was a missed opportunity there for Santorin to actually go for a gank on Quas and maybe try and burn his flash. Maybe even get something more, because Dyrus was pushed to his turret, plus he just turned into Mega Gnar. He had the bar in the right place, and if he's watching the movements of Quas, you can tell your jungler if the trinket ward has been placed, since that's all that Quas has to rely upon. They weren't quite sure if there was a counter gank from Gragas, so he gets a flash anyway, just at mid lane.
That was close. Parallel convergence almost just completely locking down Phoenix. Would have been transformed after that.
Looks like Dominate will step in and go for that top lane gank, though. Now it's Quas who's actually been pushed up, and it's level 6.
Gotta be careful about his positioning. May use Dominate to jump out of this one. Actually gets a hop on to Dominate.
Dyrus, that was beautiful.
Yep.
So slick. Nautilus, one of the best lanes to gank for, because his gank assistance is so immense.
Easily.
You'd think with the combination of a Nautilus ultimate, a root on your auto attack, and a hook, that they'd be able to line up and get him down, but Dyrus does one little sidestep on Dominate's body slam and then double hops out of there. Perfect play by Dyrus to escape that, and honestly a little bit of misplay on Team Liquid's side, because the CC they had at their disposal should not have allowed for an escape, especially without flash.
Absolutely. Really great play recently from Dyrus, and he's taken kind of upon himself to step up. The games we saw previously, he wasn't getting all that much help in the lanes while he was controlling it, and then being a huge effort to the team, or a huge boon to the team in team fights.
When you get ganked as much as he does.
He's retaliating for all those years. It's working out. Splendid for Team Silverman in that top side. Being able to change that threat around, bring him back to what he usually used to play. Dyrus was that Jax guy, the Kennen, the Vlad, a lot of things that could also carry the game. It's still there, just had to dust it off and get it back to normal. Doing well in this game, not up that much in CS. Being able to dodge the ganks, though, is the big thing there. His teleport's up along with Quas. May see a play coming from them soon, something both of those players have gotten very good at this year, so expect it to be in a big fight. Where is Santorin going on this roam? Maybe safety or a deep vision plays here. A little late on the blue buff, so it's just looking for a bit of safety in that mid lane. Clear pink ward, clear scuttle.
Crab
Find
control.
it? Yeah, you got it.
Always check that brush.
Also, being able to clear that pink ward without much contest is pretty nice luxury for them.
Yeah, luckily for Team Liquid, they also had a green ward down there in the river, though. They see the movement, and nobody will be caught out here, so Team Liquid staying safe. Game's still just dead even. Plus, it frees up Quas. He knows that Santorin is down on the bottom side. Dyrus already has control of the lane, though. So.
Yeah, just actually used his ultimate there as he gnarred out. Now he's in little form, but he was trying to just crush Quas out of lane. Worked for now. Like you said, though, that teleport is up. Quas decides to stay in the top. Get some wards down towards that dragon area for TSM side now.
Yeah. Here's something, though. If you do see enemy jungler down on bottom side and you have control of the lane like Dyrus does, and you're forcing the other guy to back, just take a couple seconds and go check that tri-brush for pink wards. It looks like Quas's ward will stand. I don't think Dyrus is going to head over there. Just shove the lane in once again. Quas trying to hold on to his teleport, I guess. Yeah. Walking back the lane at the cost of one wave.
Especially with standard lanes and in a basically dead even game right now. Having the teleport is more important than getting back to lane for one wave, especially on a top laner like Nautilus, who doesn't really need that definitive advantage in lane. Here we go, though. That pink ward control is key.
We'll lock up the 2v2 here. We're going to get Phoenix now to start trailing down. There's the teleport coming in as well. Quas is going to be the first one there. Chrono break and a save to the Lantern. What a placement there from Lustboy as well in the shadow, the middle of the fight really. And a great click by the team. Dyrus hops over the wall, avoiding another death, and they take Dominate out in that scuffle.
Oh yeah, Dominate saved his flash. Dominate held onto his flash for a really long time, trying to get the best advantage for his team in that fight by fighting as long as he could and saving the flash to get out at the end, but holds onto it a bit too long. Goes down to...
Yeah, and that fight was mostly about the setup. The free ward that Santorin got to kill there earlier ended up being fought over. That particular place of vision at this 12-minute stage of the game with standard lanes is one of the most heavily contested positions on the map, since that is the entrance and gateway to Dragon, which both teams want to take here.
You see this again.
Dominate goes clear ward, and then they chain the stun behind, so there's really no retreat in here.
Yeah.
Mainly some clever plays by Santorin and Dyrus to escape these, because this could have very easily been a close fight. Both AD carries arrived about the same time.
Yeah, Santorin able to get off his ultimate just before leaving. Turtle also hit a long-range rocket, but it was on a different target than Dominate.
Got a ward in that brush, but a little too late, unfortunately, for TSM, or for Team Liquid, I should say. 2-1 now, 12 minutes in, still waiting for a turret. The kills are a lot higher than the turrets are in the previous games. Let's see how it starts to pan out for me.
That exchange also really highlights the importance of jungle support duo roaming after you go to recall from your duo lane. If either of them had been on their own, they would have been dead without any answer. Here goes Piglet with his first ambush. Yeah. As soon as he gets his cutlass. Uh-oh, Phoenix caught out.
Phoenix may go down in the fire here. That's going to be a lot of hits. Dominate, able to get a body slam in. They didn't expect this much pressure quick from the bot lane without TSM being able to answer. Now they've approached the fight. Dominate getting hit up. Lustboy looking to hit the perfect hook here. He gets it onto Dominate. Good patience. Now they're on to Expecial. Bjergsen just throwing out glitter everywhere. They're able to pick up 3.
The river's running red here with Team Liquid Blood as TSM come up with a big victory once again. This time the only difference, no teleport, so it's only a 4-on-4. But the quickness with which both bottom lanes joined that.
Yeah, I mean, look at the ward coverage both inside the jungle and in the river for Team Solo Mid. Phoenix just caught meandering down towards that bottom lane, and he gets completely jumped. Santorin and Bjergsen staying together.
I mean, we're looking for things for TSM to change coming into this game, and we kept on mentioning how Team Liquid kept having the better opening vision control, but it's been all TSM this game.
Yep.
Game number 4, they're the ones to get the first ward line down, and that has changed very well for them in this early game. Their first early game lead as well because of it.
A lot of things stemming from that pink ward just under or above the dragon side. And Dyrus, after a long-awaited lane, actually free time at the top, may be able to grab the turret as this in the bottom. It pushed up, Piglet gets taken down.
Once again, Santorin just camping this blue quadrant of Team Liquid territory, and it's littered with wards, so he's constantly going for these aggressive moves because he knows there's no backup on the way. He knows the positioning of the Team Liquid reinforcements, and it finally culminates in the blue steal.
Measured aggression, the best kind of aggression in League of Legends. He knew exactly where everyone was because of the wards, and they punished Piglet for being the Twitch. Even though the CS advantage didn't rise from the double buffs that Wild Turtle picked up early, the mid-game fights in the river have really put Piglet in a difficult situation.
0-1-1. We talked a little bit about how bad that would hurt Piglet and his engagements trying to sneak up on somebody, and that is getting harder and harder to do. The window closes every time he dies without getting kills. Santorin backs with the rest of the team easily and safely over the wall, and Team Solo Mid actually grabbed themselves really the first dragon of the game here, being in prep for a situation to do that for the first time.
Definitely the rewards of the success of their early game. And this will be Team Liquid's turn to try and wait for the mid-game team fight and try and pick someone off to get back into it. TSM did it 2 games.
Team Liquid does have Twitch. This is a pretty large deficit, though. 2 turrets of Dragon and 4,000 gold. But with that being said, if Piglet does get the right positioning and opener for a spray and pray, TSM doesn't have very many good answers for that. Outside of Santorin maybe trying to do a backline dive and get him in a parallel convergence stun.
Turtle could triple crit him when he tries to open on him.
This is that flask, half your HP if they're able to land it. There's the flash from Bjergsen, down to half, still has Wild Growth, and a Lantern to bring him to safety. They do have to assess if they want this fight, though. Looks like they're gonna back off with that low of HP on Bjergsen. Flash as well down to him.
Another ambush, another flash earned, but no kill, and not able to pressure the turret. Bjergsen moves right back in, only loses 1 CS off of it.
A little bit of a force here from Santorin and Lustboy, seeing that engage come out. We have time to run in, throw down the wards, get what we can. Looks like they're actually going to try to steal some resources here. They can pull Team Liquid into a bad situation. Just off the side of a hook there. It doesn't look like they wanted it. Lustboy probably would have thrown it already if they did. Just being a nuisance in the side of Team Liquid's jungle right now. 6-1, they know they have the lead, so why not make it hurt that much more on your way out?
Yeah, it was actually kind of a dangerous situation for them to just be 2 in the jungle, just because Piglet is on Twitch and Turtle was so far away. But now that Turtle's moved all the way up the lane, shoving the wave here, easy for Santorin.
They're definitely
and
making
Lustboy.
these kind of an extended process, staying for more, a little bit more, but also doing it safely.
Well, that's exactly how you want to play the game. Once you get a foothold in enemy territory, you camp there.
Oh boy, there's the cleanse coming out. Choppers go down. That was a nice try on the teleport lockdown immediately. Wouldn't have really done much, but good thought.
Yeah, TSM's really trying to crush Team Liquid with map pressure right here.
Yeah.
Team Liquid doesn't really have that many options either. Dyrus going for more of a split push, damage heavy Gnar build, make sure Quas is always pushed in constantly. That's a threat. Piglet, since he's behind on Twitch, doesn't have much stealth threat on any push that Wild Turtle is doing as of yet. If Piglet is able to get a really good open with Blade of the Ruined King and have vision control, then yes, he could get some pressure back that way. But as far as actually getting turrets back for Team Liquid's perspective, they can't without a couple kills, which are also hard to come by due to their lack of map control.
I love what they're doing for Turtle here. They just set up in the bottom. Lustboy was pretty much just over the wall with Santorin saying, if you need a lantern, we got it. We're a kind of wall of defense here in the jungle. So Wild Turtle could be farming that bot lane safely. Good thoughts here by Team Solo Mid to keep everything going down the tracks in their favor. Mid turret falls. That's going to be the outer 3 now. TSM still has all of their turrets. Does mean that there is a surge in gold to be had by Team Liquid, but it doesn't look like at this clip they're going to be getting that anytime soon. One turret back, a lot of fighting, one turret back. Team Solo Mid has already done so much damage.
Yeah, I mean, even though they have Victor and he's able to upgrade the laser, he couldn't even be in range to laser at that turret because of the threat of diving with Echo. Completely zoned him off, all outers down, and TSM, the deep wards become even easier for them to keep up now.
Trying to see what can happen here for Piglet. He's falling behind in CS. Chat, you talked a little bit how it's going to be difficult for him to get back in the game. What do Team Liquid's in general, what do their options even become if Piglet can't get going?
Yeah, they really just have to stall, honestly. I think they give up 2, 3, maybe even 4 dragons and hope that Piglet can start creating picks. He has Blade of the Ruined King. Now he probably wants Ghost Blade as well, up until the point where he can actually get a good open.
Yeah.
But honestly, stalling against a team that knows how to close is very, very difficult.
You have to go deeper before you can get out.
Yeah, I think what he does, I think what he and the rest of Team Liquid do is try and set up at least defensive vision so that they can see TSM. When TSM keep going for these incursions into Team Liquid jungle, one of these times, maybe there will be an opening where TSM are separate and they get a little sloppy, and Team Liquid can try and capitalize on that. But basically, they just have to concentrate on that defensive vision now to try and find an opening.
One thing with the vision that we haven't really mentioned in these games is Bjergsen has upgraded to the pink ward dropper in all 3 games this series. And it's been allowing TSM to move their pink ward vision very easily. Normally, a lot of people will be unwilling to replace pink wards, but if you're getting a new pink ward every 120 seconds for free, it becomes much less punishing to just continually deny vision there. It's a nice thing. It's even better against a Twitch.
I don't think I've ever placed a pink ward when I already had one on the map. It just can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah, but if you have the dropper, and now I'm wasting.
Yeah, even if my pink ward is like on the other side of the map and it's useless, and we need to like dragon fight or something.
Yeah,
can't do it.
It's gonna come in handy sometime, right?
You have too much of a connection with your pink wards. Just slay them. Just throw it down. Get the kills. The return on investment's way better.
Well,
a lot better for Bjergsen though, chat. You gotta remember the seasons where it took him about 8, 9, 10 games to even buy a pink ward for the mid lane. Things have changed thanks to trinkets. 6-1, 21 minutes in. Team Solo Mid now making quick work of the second tier of turrets. Uncontested here even. There's no even vision onto Baron at this point. They're just kind of free running around the map.
Oh yeah, they don't even have to look at Baron probably the whole game if they don't want to. They could easily.
Dangerous instance for TM.
Yeah.
Dragon number 2, a very different game in that sense. A few of the games were 3-1 in favor of Team Liquid Dragons before TSM really started to take a hold of those. So Team Liquid very much so playing for the late game, as we were saying. Allow Piglet to get going. No real lead by either Bjergsen or Phoenix in the mid lane, with the Azir being banned out this time. Definitely affecting their play styles.
Piglet's farm is just so slow in this game.
There's nowhere he can go.
Yeah. And the jungle pressure that has been put on him means he has very few safe lanes to farm. And he's in that bad spot that even now, if he tries to open up on a Jinx,
well,
an Infinity Edge static shift, he might just get crit a couple times and lose the duel.
They are bringing the whole squad here. Looks like Phoenix actually now swinging back to mid lane, but they were bringing everybody from Team Liquid up here because they saw Turtle pushing out a wave. TSM, though, also bring reinforcements. And that is enough. All you need to know for Team Liquid is, hey, this could possibly even be an even-numbered fight. Okay, we can't take it.
Narn out in the bot lane. Dyrus is going to call Quas to respond to this push. Looks like they won't be going for anything with Mini Gnar coming out just about now, but a good kind of multitask. Give Team Liquid many more things to do. TSM can go and take another turret uncontested.
Yeah. The evolution of TSM's vision game throughout this series is also a testament to the strength that they were talking about, adapting between games. You know, learning and listening from the early ones. And they've got Team Liquid completely boxed in.
Definitely seem to have worked for them. Kind of having Reginald step in, having just a different sight on the game. Saying, you know, you're going over these speed bumps. Let's change it and go around. Even though the speed bump doesn't hurt you that bad, it could be better if we could change it. And those kind of things have been ironed out for Team Solo Mid, it seems. Much more controlled here, knowing the late game is going to be where they can take control, if not early. Really just methodical about the situation.
Yeah, it's a strange thing. So much of TSM's success in the past, back in 2014, was in playoffs, them just picking better late game team compositions and then just winning based on scaling. And at some point during this split, TSM decided that, you know, that wasn't good enough, and they wanted to change the way they play and win in a diverse number of ways.
Yep.
And they struggled heavily with all of these things.
I think it was the point where they finished 5th place. Like,
there we go. That's the point. You're like, you know what? That wasn't good enough. But the most ironic thing about all this is even when they come back with a strategy that has a top lane focus or Bjergsen on support of mid laners, they're still just playing better late game team composition, and it's ultimately the strength of TSM.
With the small little twist here that they earned these advantages with their early game concentrating on the blue quadrant of Team Liquid jungle. They earned it through their Lustboy and Santorin double roam over there, and then the quick adjustments for the bottom lane to join all the skirmishes.
Yeah. And this would actually be the game where TSM doesn't have the better late game team composition, which if they win here would be the first time all series the better late game team comp didn't win. If they can push through this large advantage they've gained in the first 24 minutes.
The thing that's going to allow them to do that is these bushwhacks they're trying to set up. I feel like Team Liquid's going to walk into at least one here over the next couple minutes. This vision control is just on top right now. 2 wards simply cleared out as they were placed next to each other. Unfortunate for Team Liquid. And even more control, like I said, over this blue side of the map. Phoenix not going to be able to clear out waves as he wishes. Only a few lasers from him now. It's getting that much harder for Team Liquid here. Now they are definitely backs against the wall. They're going to have to keep themselves alive with a great fight. No Azir this game to change a 40-minute team fight around. It's going to be all up to some kind of sneak attack. Some engage that Team Solo Mid can't see, and right now they see everything.
They see Phoenix here.
Oh, the parallel convergence to lock him in. Flash gets him out, but there's so much lockup to follow here. Looks like Dominate body slams out of the Chopper's control. Quas on either side. They can't really get a priority target. It's going to take too much damage on the side of Team Solo Mid. TSM has everything they want right in front of them on a platter, though. 3 down on the side of Liquid, and Team Solo Mid head for Baron.
Yep, they just demolished Team Liquid there.
The tanks on the front line doing a perfect job, doing the right job. And Team Solo Mid should do this uncontested. Piglet not having enough damage at this point to turn the tide of the fight.
And Santorin's Echo has been huge. The setups onto Phoenix here, taking him out of the game. For the most part, Piglet also was zoned out by an impending Mega Gnar, couldn't get in great position. And also, by the time Piglet did open up with Spray and Pray, he just didn't have the items. One Blade, Rune King, and a Brutalizer isn't enough.
Yeah, this, not only is this a tank Echo, this is a tank Echo that's built for the team also. His tank item is an Aegis of the Legion on top of his Cinderhulk. Dyrus did so much work coming in from the side here on Gnar, zoning at first and then an easy ultimate there into the wallop, and no answer there from Team Liquid. Just a massacre.
Just one more ward over the wall. They had wards all the way up to River except for that brush. And Xpecial had actually just used his sweeper to try and go and clear it. Good positioning by Team Solo Mid. As I was saying, one of those bushwhacks is going to pay off. They get just a little bit more out of Team Liquid. Still trying to keep themselves in this one. 9-1, definitely the biggest swing we've had out of any of these games. And playoff TSM came to play again.
We have to bring up as well that if TSM wins here, they guarantee themselves a spot at Worlds. Obviously, the winner of the summer split gets the #1 seed, but TSM would have an insurmountable amount of championship points from their spring split victory and a guaranteed top 2 finish in this split. So a couple of things on the line here. Aside from TSM's streak of split finals reached, it's also a guaranteed spot at Worlds.
Plus, a grudge match with COG waiting for them. Ooh.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, he didn't get one.
Piglet very low, though. This probably means the turret's going to take that much more damage. He has time to heal, actually. The minion wave is quite far behind in the positioning off of that clear. So TSM's going to kind of sit here, set up camp for a second, roast some hot dogs, maybe some s'mores, whoever might switch, and then back onto the turret.
Piglet went back to base. He's been able to heal up, so no harm, no foul there after that little bit of harass. Now it's up to Team Liquid, though. They need a great Gragas ultimate.
Lulu ult is also down, so if they can isolate one person, they have a higher chance of killing him. Easier said than done, though, with a 10,000 gold disadvantage.
Dyrus, complete focus on the turret, knowing he was not a priority target there on the front line. Dragon's alive, #3 if they want to leave and grab it. They don't really have any minion waves to continue pushing. They may not care. They may just push bottom lane and wait for it. Gonna set the wards out pink as well for any Lust Boy initiations over the wall, or if anybody tries to initiate from Team Liquid.
Yeah, TSM definitely wants to maximize the duration of this Baron buff to try and get the second inhibitor, and they have a good window right now because they know how weak Team Liquid is. The percentage gold difference is as high now as it's really ever going to get.
Bjergsen is 2 levels over Phoenix.
Another zoning parallel convergence there from Santorin, and they take a huge chunk out of the turret.
Every time a turret wave arrives.
Everybody is 2 levels over their opponent except for the junglers right now. Gonna start into this fight. The hook hits Dominate over the inhibitor, locks him up nicely. Dyrus able to pick up that kill. The Mega Gnar again at the right time for Team Solo Mid to go aggressive on a fight, and Team Liquid must back off once again. The second inhibitor falls. Team Solo Mid about to go around the horn. They just have top to push in now if they even need to go for it.
Not leaving very many windows for a comeback here. They have great pink ward coverage. Twitch cannot sneak up behind them. They can also move those pink wards thanks to their itemization and just the income they have to buy more if you don't have the pink ward dropper.
Yeah.
There's no way Team Liquid is getting out for the Dragon. They also are stuck in their base with players that are behind that are harder for them to clear super minions, and inhibitor #3 is on the way.
They were really unwilling to take a huge risk right there because any team fight that they took would be low percentage. But this is the last game in the series. They can't afford to lose it.
Yeah.
So they were unwilling to even go for one of those low percentage team fights at their turrets. And now 2 inhibitors down. They won't have many openings left to do it.
Maybe trying too much coming into the last game. A lot, still comfort on players around. Quas gets that Nautilus back. Dominate plays the Gragas. The Vayne worked, but I think the Twitch not falling in. Maybe even a Tristana in that composition if you didn't want to Vayne again.
It's tricky. This wasn't necessarily composition for Vayne either. TSM.
That's true.
First pick Lulu could have just polymorphed him the instant he gets into range. So hard life.
That makes it difficult. Something we haven't seen all year. You're going to put that pressure on game number 4 and possibly a game point for Team Solo Mid. That's a lot of pressure on Piglet. Showed one game, but cannot get the team behind him this time, unfortunately. And Team Solo Mid is bearing down on that factor now and going for the last inhibitor turret here. 30 minutes in, the fastest game of the series possibly, as Team Solo Mid start to pressure the final portion.
Really,
of
Team Liquid has to fight right now if they want a chance.
Gotta do it. Depth charge goes out.
They got
Not gonna
Bjergsen.
get too many. Very nicely done. Actually does grab Bjergsen in that Scuffle. Did not see his HP bar get deleted immediately. Santorin has to run, but they're still saying that we can push this, we can drop it before we leave.
2 waves of super minions crashing into their Nexus turrets right now. They only suffered 1 casualty, so they want to keep the pressure up. 1 Nexus turret falls.
Doing their best to try and clear them off, but oh, TSM actually recall here. Man, that gravity field from Phoenix pulling Bjergsen back in and allowing them a little bit of breathing room.
And it's just a little bit, because it's still 2 inhibs down. They still haven't picked up Dragons. They get 1 kill, but that's exactly what Team Liquid needed to stay barely in the game. First seed out of the regular season. The 1 split, Team Liquid wanted to win the whole split. It could be over if they can't come back in this game.
Another dredge line hits.
Pretty much max range. Great gravity field stun to keep the damage out from TSM. And also a good Gragas ultimate to force Santorin's rewind as well.
Yeah, good setup there from Quas, and then good follow-up from Phoenix and the rest.
It's like another Zeke's Harbinger built up. Just a plethora of gold for TSM to be working with now. 11,000 gold lead in their favor. Fastest game possibly and biggest gold lead of this series. It's just the face of the mountain that Xpecial's been able to build up so far. Very, very hurt on resources as Team Liquid tries to possibly defend their base one more time here.
20 seconds on Baron. Will TSM continue the siege at top, or will they retreat and grab Baron? I feel like since they put so much vision down, they're going to retreat back and grab the Baron, but they could easily just continue the siege up top, wait for double supers to try and end it.
Last time the double supers bought them a Nexus turret, and they still have some time with these inhibitors down.
The bait.
Door number 3, Jack.
Can we get somebody to walk out? Don't know if this is going to happen. Dyrus,
I actually feel like
just playing with them in the front of the base.
I feel like TSM would be very disincentivized from leaving their base at all.
Too Liquid?
Yeah, sorry, Team Liquid would not want to leave their base at all.
Right. Well, TSM doesn't want to leave Team Liquid's base either.
Fair enough.
It's going to be the Baron, like you said, Team Liquid at home, warm and comfortable in front of the fire here. That's their best place to fight at this point. Only a Nexus turret and a Kurt inhibitor turret to fight behind. Hopefully the choke point of their walls gives them some kind of wombo combo. Really, a laser's the only thing that's going to come flying through. That spray and pray, rat-a-tat-tat, could be big.
Rat-a-tat-tat.
Gotta get it right.
Got his last whisper, like you said.
Yeah.
So good. Try and cut through the Thornmail Randwinds that Dyrus has put up right now. Even so, this TSM team, they get the zoning parallel convergence, and then they just kind of move in. It makes it really hard for Team Liquid to get the right type of initiation off. And with their pink ward coverage, it also means Piglet can't really get any good flanks. They do have their inhibitors up, though, so if they can fight right away before TSM can get in proper position, I think it's the only real chance they have.
Oh, Piglet with the Potion of Wrath on, trying to get some initial damage onto somebody. Xpecial with the Elixir of Iron, hasn't popped it yet. We have seen Lustboy use his.
On a Turtle.
Quas is in the middle of this fight. Dominate, very tanky as well up there. They get Turtle. That's going to be Santorin. Chrono breaks back. A little bit of damage onto Quas. The depth charge, yes, has been used, so that crowd control is not going to follow. Dominate on the front line, and the laser over his shoulder to put a bit of damage onto Dyrus, who is ready to gnaw out. And the fight disengages after Turtle goes down.
The complete opposite story for this whole series. It was Team TSM getting down in the early game and coming back through team fight victories. But here, Team Liquid, once again, they hold for a little bit longer, and they just keep trying to buy themselves another couple of minutes to live.
The longer they hold, the more likely a comeback becomes. Remember, TSM has the earlier game, really mid-game spiking team comp, and when Wild Turtle goes down in this team comp, they really don't have the damage. He is frontlining as a Jinx right there, and also Lust Boy's right next to him, so the Lantern can't save.
Also, he had Flash, so he could have flashed that hook. Or should have.
Yeah. Coulda, shoulda, woulda, but didn't.
Yep. Wild Growth as well was quickly depleted by the damage that Team Liquid's bringing to the table now. Phoenix is going to go ahead and get his Elixir of Sorcery so he can get that last bit of damage out of his abilities here in what could be a final attempt.
Baron buff.
And it is important for TSM to be relentless right now. They want to get this advantage pushed with this Baron buff, at least get the inhibitors down so they can hope to cycle 3 inhibitors the next time. Because if we're counting the minutes right here and wait another 7 minutes without them gaining a real advantage, maybe Team Liquid would come back. They kind of catch Quas. Here we go.
Do they want Quas, though? Still a very big shield coming out for him.
Turtle again!
Taking it. Turtle's able to get himself to safety. Very scary situation for him. However, they take out Dominus. That's a bit of the disengage of the fight. This inhibitor goes down. Now they're able to pressure those minions again. If they even leave to use the minions, Phoenix, the dredge line just misses. If he's home guarded, he's ready to go, but he does not have home guards. TSM is moving in. TSM is going to be on the Nexus. Phoenix still healing up. The rest of the team tries to come out before getting a full heal. TSM may have to reconsider here. 36 minutes on the clock for possibly the fastest game of the series.
Turtle is fully shielded up right now. No Nexus turrets there. Phoenix goes down.
That's one. Turtle looking to go around the Nexus, but they say focus. Get it down on the priority target. 50 gold going into Wild Turtle as he takes it down. And Team Solo Mid take the semifinal series to face Counter Logic Gaming as they take out Team Liquid.
A little bit scary at the ending, but honestly, the majority of that game was dominated by Team Solomid, and a 3-1 series victory is nothing new for Team Solomid. That's their series score in all of their playoff series dating back to the spring, and they're in yet another finals.
Definitely a thing to look at. Any teams that are watching today is how much Azir had an impact for these two teams. Taking that away is absolutely huge, and we do see that there's kind of that level. There's Azir, and there's this big gap before everybody else's second mid laner.
Yeah, I think for Phoenix more than any other mid laner as well, that is true. He's so dominating on Azir, and there will be plenty of retrospection for this series, wondering why Phoenix wasn't trying to control Azir earlier, because even though this was 3-1, this was an incredibly close series.
And Team Liquid still do get to go to Madison Square Garden. They will be playing for more championship points. They can still try and get to Worlds. TSM, though, they are poised to go up against CLG, the 2 oldest League of Legends teams in the world, find themselves in the finals of the North American LCS this year. That will be epic.
I'm sure CLG has wanted that for quite some time. You can see Team Liquid thinking about the game, a lot of pressure on Phoenix as well with the Azir, a lot of pressure onto Piglet in the last 2 games. A Vayne into a Twitch, something we really haven't seen from him throughout the season. A little bit of the Vayne, but that was outside the box from what anybody was thinking.
Yeah, Piglet looks crushed in his chair right there. It's a tough loss for Team Liquid because they were the best team in the regular season, and they really did believe this was their split to win it all.
So many times coming through, they were a team that you would say, if they could just get the 1-star player kind of effect to happen to everybody in the same game. It was always one person turning on and not enough for the rest. Hopefully they can do it as they move on to Madison Square Garden because, like you said, they are looking very good still. Right now we've got Freak standing by on the red side for a word with 2 members of the victorious TSM.
Thank you very much, Raven. Great cast in the day to you and the rest of the guys up on the desk. I'm here with the very victorious Wild Turtle and Bjergsen. Awesome series, first of all. Turtle, I'll start with you. Coming into this matchup, okay, you got a really good quarterfinal win, but here's Team Liquid, who were the #1 team in the regular season. What were your expectations coming into this match?
We knew it was going to be pretty close, but we were practicing pretty hard coming into this. Like, we were getting pretty good skim results, and we knew what we had to do, and we had a clear objective. And I just think overall we were pretty confident going into this match.
So then after the first 2-0, of course, it looked pretty good for you guys. As these guys started firing back in Game 3, you know, TL have a big history of reverse sweeps in the playoffs, usually on the receiving end. Did it start to concern you that suddenly they were figuring you guys out and they had a plan coming in?
I think it's just because that third game we were going for more of a mid-game, like flank pig-based comp instead of just these like hard team fighting, really good scaling kind of comp. So that's what we went back to, and we were like, all right, guys, we tried something different. It didn't work out. We're going to revert to that other style, and we got that last one.
I just want to press you on that real quick because you were still playing support mid laner. Gnar is sort of mid-tier damage up-wise. It was kind of all on Turtle. In the commentators were saying kind of that the TL would outscale you via the late game. Do you believe in that, or are you still like really happy with your team come late game?
Lulu and Jinx are just like really good late game combos. Like Twitch has like an ult which only lasts for like 8 seconds, and then once that's gone, like they lose like a lot of damage after that's gone because Victor can't kill me with the Lulu shield. So overall, we just had a lot of consistent damage for late game.
All right, of course, you guys did a great job here. So talk to me about this now. Coming into the finals for like the millionth time in a row now, TSM continue to be at least top 2. Were you ever concerned that it wasn't going to be that? You guys had a really lackluster sort of end of the regular split. Was this how worried were you that it was going to be a split? TSM failed to reach the finals.
I don't know. Like if I never like had that in the back of my mind that we wouldn't play like very well. I just always thought we would come back up in playoffs and start playing really well again. That's about it.
Pearson, anything to add on that one?
I think just in the regular season when we started playing worse, we were all a little worried, like, how are we going to pick ourselves back up? How are we going to do well? We all know that we have the potential to like beat Liquid, beat Gravity, and potentially beat CLG, but we just needed to find out what we needed to do. And after Andy coming in and helping us with coaching, we really found what we need to work on, how we're going to work on it, and what we need to do to win playoffs, essentially.
It looks like guys are doing really well in playoffs. So final question for you guys here. You mentioned it really briefly. TSM versus CLG in the North American final. It's like we're all the way back to 2012. I know you guys newer to the roster than that, but the biggest rivalry in North American League of Legends. Here it is, Madison Square Garden, TSM's hometown and away. How much does this match mean to you guys?
For me, I guess it means a lot, like playing against CLG, and I really want to beat them because, I don't know, because everyone else wants to beat them. And then, yeah.
Turtle actually said backstage that Double sucks.
Is that true?
I cannot confirm.
Will there be a trash talk video for you and CLG just like with Team Liquid?
Yeah, for sure.
At least if CLG wants to, we're challenging them.
All right, CLG called out for a trash talk video. You guys better live up to this one. I'm going to see if you guys can do it. We're going to send it back to the casting desk for now, though. Break it away.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Trash talk challenge.
I'm looking forward to the trash talk because Turtle's trash talk is usually
Trash talk challenge. I got it. TSM has to make the event because last time we had an event in New York, they lived in New York and we're still 2 hours late. There's my trash talk for it. But absolutely amazing game by them. They deserve no trash after this one. Madison Square Garden is going to be very big. It's pretty much been what teams have aspired for coming into this season. They're looking at Madison Square Garden and then pretty much Worlds because that's just how big it is to them.
Yeah, this is going to be one of the best finals ever for North American LCS. The first time CLG has ever been in a final, trying to stop TSM's 2 consecutive split titles as well, both fighting for that #1 seed in North America. That's going to be pretty high. Pretty good.
We'll see. I'll say. So once again, we're going to go ahead and set it down to Freak as he is ready for more on Team Liquid's Day on the Rift.
Thank you very much, Rivington. Yeah, I'm here with I Will Dominate, and I know it wasn't what you wanted coming into the series with a loss to TSM, but you have 2 chances now to make it to Worlds anyway. You win the 3rd place match, TSM wins the final. You have the most circuit points. Even if that doesn't happen, you're pretty much guaranteed to be in the final of the circuit itself, and you can win a best of 5 there at the very end. So what's it going to be like getting ready now to make sure you make that trip to Worlds?
I think mainly we just have to clean up our mid game a little bit. In all these games, I think we might have got first blood all the games. If we didn't, we had early advantages, especially in game 1 and game 2. And we were just not able to adapt to their rotations fast enough. They were rotating at times that sometimes were really good and sometimes they did poor rotations, but we weren't reacting appropriately, which made like each one of their rotations give them something. Like they would either be able to dodge the lane or they'd be able to like get out of situations that they didn't want to be in. So I think we just need to get better at that. Just be able to read the rotations faster and either be able to match it or just act on an objective even quicker. So I guess from this series, it just showed that our early game is still really strong. But if we just get a little bit quicker on realizing what's happening in the game and reading people's map movements, I think we can be really strong.
So talk to me about how you were adapting throughout the series then, because you had 4 games, try to do something else, pick different champions, play it differently. You identify stuff now, but how are you trying to grow between each game to try to adapt the TSM?
So first game, we just came out with like a Juggernaut style comp. They banned Janna all the games, which we didn't exactly respect, but we didn't expect. But I don't think that really did too much against us. I think we were still able to like play the comp we wanted. in game one, we were winning it in, I think, all the lanes, but we got out-rotated a couple times, and they got a couple free kills. And what we realized was that Azir became super high priority over the series. Like, we didn't think that Bjergsen would play that much Azir, and it ended up being really strong. So we had to adapt to that. We banned it, I think, or we took it early, game 3, and then game 4 we banned it. So I think it was adapting to the Azir a little bit earlier. After the nerfs, we didn't really think that Bjergsen would play. We thought they'd play like more of the Lulu type of stuff, but I think it's just getting better at realizing how the team's moving in game, because I think that our comps in game 1 and 2 were fine. I think we could win those games, and we were winning at points. And with those advantages, we just need to be able to just get on the map faster. Like, they were always beating us to Dragon. They were always setting up a minute before, and it would make it really tough for us to walk in. And it was really hard for us to just press our advantages because they were always so quick on setting up for things. So I think we'll rewatch these games. We'll learn exactly like what they did well, and then there were some rotations they made that were poor, and from those we'll learn how we're going to exploit that next time. So if a team is trying to dodge our lane phase by just making rotations and getting out of the lane, we can really punish it, because if they're doing something inefficient, that means that there has to be an objective on the other side of the map or a way that we can abuse it.
All right, so good luck to you on your next one then. And speaking of that match, it is going to be Team Impulse in third place in New York. Tell me how you're going to get ready for that match and how you're going to crush these guys.
I think we're just going to try to play our normal game. I think so far we're 6-3 against Impulse in all the games we played, so we have normally a good record against them. I think we can learn from this series about how to play a more rotational-based game, kind of like CLG did to them and kind of how TSM beat us. And I think that we're a little bit faster on that than Impulse already, so if we're able to execute that, I think that we'll just end up taking the series.
All right, well, Dominic, good luck in that last series. Going to see you over in New York, and we'll probably see you at Worlds. Good luck on that one. Well, that's going to do it for us here. We're going to send back to the guys in the caster desk.
Thank you very much, Freak. Great interviews on the day. And Dom, thank you for chatting with us as well. Best of luck to both of the teams at Madison Square Garden. It's going to be an amazing event. And it was very interesting to hear there. Obviously, once you're out of the hot seat, once you're out of the game, you have like a bigger picture on it. And you can say, you know, we did this wrong, this wrong, this wrong. That's hard to adapt. But it was interesting to hear that they didn't think Azir was a priority pick all around because of the undefeatedness of both players.
I was actually really surprised with how quickly Dominate was able to articulate the takeaways from the losses in these games. Even in between games, you can tell they were deeply discussing what went wrong in their losses. Yep. And it sounds like they have a lot of stuff to look over, and it actually bodes well for them moving towards Madison Square Garden, I think, moving closer.
It's absolutely not the end of the road, and there's so much League of Legends still to be played. I mean, they carry in their 50 championship points from spring. They can still gain a lot from third place in Madison Square Garden. Even if they don't auto-qualify based on points, they're going to be playing in the regional qualifier tournament the next week. So just crystallizing those takeaways and still going towards improvement can definitely go a long way in making this loss less devastating. Yes, their dream of winning the finals at Madison Square Garden is gone, but the larger dream of making it performing at Worlds is totally still alive.
They have 50 points going into it. They gain more points. It'll be nice for them. So 50 isn't too bad. Team Solo Mid locking themselves in already for that world spot. Definitely feels good to them due to the points of their finishes in the splits. So definitely going to get some good games still. TSM tries to go for another international stage. We'll see who is next. To close out our semifinal coverage, we're going to head over to the analyst desk.